Hello, it's JJ and I'm back on YouTube. I have a drugstore haul for you today with full face of first impressions. No time to chit chat, so let's jump right into it. Starting with primer, I've got the Catrice Goodbye Pores Prime and Fine Poreless Blur Primer. That's a mouthful. It's supposed to be long lasting with soft focus effect. It actually is a good primer. Made my skin smooth and pores were definitely less visible. It's not the best primer in the world, but for the price, it's great. For foundation, I've got the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in soft beige. I've been wanting to try out this foundation for quite some time since so many beauty gurus were raving about it. But honestly, I was not so blown away with it. I mean, it's okay, not bad at all. I actually like that it's not very matte and quite hydrating, but I just had a baby and this mama needs more coverage. I also got the Wet n Wild sponge in such a cute bunny packaging. I love that sponge and I will keep on repurchasing it. Maybe the closest to the original beauty blender I've tried so far. Back to the foundation. As you see, when blended out, the coverage is not so great really. Almost like a BB cream or something. Maybe I haven't put enough, I don't know. I'll give it a try another time and let you know if I change my mind. Yeah, here you can see me going in with my ColourPop No Filter foundation over top just to add more coverage because the Wet n Wild one is just too sheer for my taste. Next we have the NYX Can't Stop One Stop Concealer. And let me tell you, this blew my mind from the very first use, and I've been using it ever since. It's super full coverage for all new mamas out there. It blends like a dream and it does not cake on me. Also, it lasts for such a long time and it does not crease nor crack. Truly a great concealer. For setting powder, I've got the Makeup Revolution Translucent Baking Powder, and it's very good for setting and baking. It did dry me out a tiny bit, but not as much as some others I've tried recently. For brows, I've got the Revolution Pro Precision Eyebrow Pencil in dark brown. For years, I've only been using the Anastasia Dip Brow and never really got handy with a pencil, but this turned out great. And you get the spoolie on the other side as well. Surprisingly, I ended up having a good brow day. For bronzer, I've got the Wet n Wild bronzer in the shade What Shady Beaches. I love that name. And it's a warm tone bronzer. I usually go for cool tone or neutral bronzers for contouring, but this really gave me a nice sun-kissed bronze look and not too orange at all. I hate looking orange. I've also got the Revolution Pro Contour and Highlight Palette in collaboration with Natalia's Civiets, I think, also known as Nat. She's a Polish Instagram sensation, and I'll link her channel below in the description box. She's absolutely gorgeous. You have to check her out if you don't know her already. And I'm sure you do. To carve out those cheekbones and contour my nose and jawline, I used the contour shade Desert from the palette, and I loved it. Totally similar to the Benefit Hula one that is my all-time favorite for contouring. I've also got the two Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes. This one is in the shade Mellow Wine and it's more on the peachy side. The other one is in the shade Perlecent Pink and it is, well, pink. They're not overly pigmented, but I actually love that in a blush. I don't like looking like a clown and spend like 15 minutes blending out my blush so it's not over the top. When the blush is not crazily pigmented like these ones, I can just build up the color to my liking and can't really go overboard. For this look, I went for a Mellow Wine shade. I've set it with my Pixie Beauty Makeup Fixing Spray before going in with highlighters. And first of many is from the Nat palette in the shade Darling, and I've used it as a blush topper just on the apple of my cheeks to give it a nice glow. For the actual highlight, I've got the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighter in the shade Precious Petals. And I also got the Wet n Wild highlighting brush. I love this highlighter, very nice champagne gold shade. It looks better in person than on camera though. So that's why I've used the shade Admirer from the Nat palette over top to intensify the glow. And now here comes the harsh truth. So I've got these Pixie Beauty Eye Reflection Shadow Palettes along with a brush set in a PR for Valentine's. The PR box is absolutely stunning, I have to say that. But the shadows are the worst one I've tried in my life. You know, I love Pixie skincare so much and I'm using it every single day, and I was so excited to try out the makeup for the first time, and it was a big disappointment. I started out with this cool tone brown shade as my transition, and as you see, the payoff is so slight, almost not existing. But I thought it was not a big deal, it's only a transition shade, the other ones will get better. Boy, was I wrong. Next, I took this darker cool tone brown to put in my outer corner, and look, nothing. Literally nothing. So I kept adding more and more and more, used half a pan I think, just to get the smallest amount of pigment ever. Can't even see it properly. I've used their brush that came along in the set, and I thought maybe the brush is bad. So I took the darkest matte shade in the palette and my BH Cosmetics brush that I absolutely love. And again, the payoff was very disappointing. A bit better than the other shades, but come on, this is the darkest shade in the palette. So again, I kept adding more and more, and the more shadow I added, the patchier it get. It was a complete mess. Then I tried the other palette that is all shimmers, and shimmery shadows usually are more pigmented than mattes. I even sprayed my brush before going in, but again, the pigmentation is just bad. They're so patchy and takes forever to blend them, and the payoff is next to nothing. Darker shimmers like this red one has some pigmentation and it is the best of all of them, but still I'm so frustrated with these palettes. In one word, they're just bad. As you can see, I really did my best to make it into a wearable look, but nothing and no one could make this work. Can't even imagine a worse palette at the moment. I was actually getting ready here to meet my friend for a coffee and just couldn't go outside looking like this. A little advice, never do first impressions when you need to be someplace right afterwards. So I had to fix this look a bit with my ColourPop Dream palette. It's not a first impression and it's not a new product, I know. But I ended up having a bad makeup day because of pixie shadows, and I don't do bad makeup days. But anyway, I couldn't fix this look. Just made it a bit less horrible since I had no time to wipe it off and do something else because I was already late. For the lips, I went in with my ColourPop Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Trap. And at the drugstore, I've got the Makeup Revolution Lip Topper in the shade Exquisite. Such a good lip topper, really loved it. Glossy, sparkly, and so soft and not sticky at all. Literally, this lip topper salvaged the entire look. Thanks so much for watching my drugstore haul and first impressions video. Some things, even if they're super affordable, are just not worth your money. Sometimes it's better to save up and get something that is worth it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because there is always more makeup.